what is happening with the Nets? This is arguably the biggest story in the NBA. Kevin Durant and the Nets struggling in Boston. It starts in game one when Jason Tatum hits that buzzer-beating layup, just a killer to give the Celtics the 1-0 series lead. And KD struggling in that loss. He shoots 9 for 24 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, 6 turnovers, and then this carries over to game two. He shoots 4 of 17 from the field, 0 for 10 in the second half, worst shooting half of his career. Yesterday on Get Up, Stephen A. had this to say about KD.
It is scary how bad Kevin Durant has looked and how humbled he has been in this series thus far. He got to change it. He's got to turn it around. I got to believe he can, but I have never seen Kevin Durant look this bad. I am shell-shocked, and I have nothing to say in his defense, not anything, because of what I have seen.
I mean, Kevin Durant has nearly as many turnovers as made field goals through 2 games this postseason. It's the first time in his career he shot under 40% and committed at least 6 turnovers in consecutive games. And PG, you've had a front row seat to this. You're calling this series on the radio. Why is KD struggling so much?
We're struggling because of Boston's defense. They're playing extremely well. They're the best defensive team in the league. They have been all year. They have great length to go at them. Watch right now. It's always 2 players. These are 2 big players, Daniel Tice, Jason Tatum. The hands are up, but it's the help that's there. The turnovers are what is hurting the worst. 12 turnovers in 2 games. Watch the help again. It's not his primary defender. That's Jason Tatum. Watch Jaylen Brown come in from the backside. It's the team defense and what they're doing with his turnovers, creating the offense right there and going on the other end. Look at the size. You're happy when one guy contests a shot. There's 2 guys contesting a shot. This has happened repeatedly in the first 2 games. When he goes again, he's going against the entire team. I mean, literally, when you chart this, if one guy's contesting a shot, you're really pleased. They've had 2 contesting most of his shots. Sometimes it's 3. It's exceptional team defense. Kevin's gotten a little frustrated the way the game's been called.
Yeah, you can see it.
But he's also had everybody's discount. He's had 2 really good halves, too. He's had 1 big half in each game where he played well. I think he'll play much, much better in Barclays. But the problem is Boston's defense is exceptional. It's not going to get easier, and particularly if the teams are allowed to get physical with him. The biggest thing is the turnovers. He's got to be careful handling the ball. Most of his turnovers are when he's bouncing the ball, and the help is there coming against him.
I mean, Alan, you said something in our meeting this morning that you don't think he's playing with confidence, which is hard to believe when you're talking about KD.
No, as coach is going through some of those highlights, he was showing us the defense. You see him there fumbling the basketball, the turnovers, off balance on one spin move, dribble off his foot here. Yep. I mean, this is Kevin Durant. You know, this is not some scrub who just got into the league. I mean, this guy's one of the great players of all time, dribbling off his foot in crunch time, off balance shots. He's not, when he rises up to shoot a basketball, you always think it's going in. I was talking to a coach after game 2. He said he has no presence in this game. He had no presence. And that's not something you're used to seeing from him. Mm-hmm. So is it the defense? Absolutely. It's in his head a little bit too. And Steve Nash has got to figure out a way to help him.
Okay, so help him how? I mean, that would be the. You mentioned the calls. Should Steve Nash be saying something?
Don't get me wrong. If the officials allow it to be physical, that's a plus for Boston. I think the other thing that's a little lost in the shuffle, people forget, Ime Udoka was an assistant last year in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. That's a tremendous advantage. We also see that's happening.
Is he out coaching his boss from last year at this point?
No. It's not about coaching. It's about the players. Kevin Durant's going to be fine. He'll play very well in Barclays. Yeah, they got to get him easy buckets. First game we said he didn't get enough free throws. Second game he got 20 free throws. Right. He'll find a way. Dribbling the ball is getting him in trouble. So yeah, getting him off the ball, getting him off screens. All that will help, but I think he'll play well. The problem is Boston's defensive scheme. Early in the game, when Bruce Brown got them going, scored like 9 in a row, Kevin got off the ball right away. Right. If his teammates step up and continue to do that, first game Kyrie, everybody's like, these 2 games were mismatches. They lost on the last play of the first game after they trailed by 10 or 11 going into the fourth quarter. This game, they led for a big chunk of the game. So the series is not over yet. It hasn't looked good. Kevin Durant's playing as poorly as I've seen him play. But I'm betting on Kevin Durant to bounce back.
Are you putting it all on the players, or where do you think Nash can help here? I
think there's ways, and PJ, I obviously know that you know this better than anybody. So I'm I'm speaking more from the observer and obviously not from the experience that you have. But there are times I've seen in my many years covering the NBA, and actually in other leagues too, where a coach can say, I see what's going on, I see what they're doing to him, and it's getting in his head a little bit. I've got to stick up for him. Post-game, I don't need to hear they're a more experienced team. What I need to see is pound the table, give me a take that for data moment like David Fizdale had or something, but just say, I've got the best player in the world on my team right now, and he's getting manhandled. And I can't believe the league is allowing this to happen. I'll take the fine. I'll pay the fine, but I want my player to know I got his back. And I also want to send that message. We are going home. We're in our building. Our role players will play better because they're in our building with our fans. But I want my star player to also feel like I've got his back. The officials certainly will see it. They'll see all the comments. And maybe they'll watch some tape and see there's a lot of little pushes and shoves going on before Kevin even gets to the basketball.
Also, Kyrie had a terrible second half. I mean, we
Both
can't let
invisible.
him get off scot-free.